350 years have passed since humans first settled the Balkan star system, located approximately 150 light-years from Earth, where a number of planets have been terraformed to resemble Earth. Two 11-year-old twins, Thor and Rai, lives on the space colony Juno. As they return to their quarters, they are shocked to see their parents killed. Soon a sleeping gas knocks them out, but Thor manages to see the perpetrators, who are no other than the army who are supposed to protect them. The twins are put on a pod and sent down to a planet known as Chimera. They get out and navigate their way through the dense jungle. Thor knows they've been abandoned as their possessions only contain a beam knife and a smelly sap. Locals surround them, but their leader, Zagi, wants to take care of them. He tells them about Chimera. It is basically a prison planet. Nobody knows about it because the higher-ups kept its existence a secret. Also, plants here are mostly carnivorous and rule the planet. The only way to survive is to revert back to being a beast. Therefore, only the king of beasts, also known as Juu Ou Sei, can live on this planet. He further elaborates how there are 4 tribes known as rings that rule by territory. Divided by skin color, they are sun, Blanc, night, and ochre. Zagi and his fellows don't belong to any. They are abandoned children and their nickname Wild Children. Also on Chimera, men and women live separately. There is only one and only one way to leave Chimera: to stand above all 4 ringleaders and become Juu Ou. You also do that by climbing some tower called Dagger Pagoda in the middle of the continent, and win the ability to move freely between Hecate and Chimera. As Rai is clumsy, he gets bullied. Thor tries to protect him but also gets bullied. Later, Zagi warns Thor that survival is tough here, and since the night is harsher, it is only reasonable that they remove the weak ones. That means Rai will be targeted. The twins leave the place. Rai continues to complain, while Thor ponders on Zagi's advice to leave Rai behind, or he too will die. And then Rai continues to complain he'd rather die than go through this. You said it. Thor going to kill him. But seeing those same eyes, Thor has a change of heart. They are then surrounded by men from the Ochre Ring. They claim the twins have broken some rules. Thor pretends to be friendly, and when close enough, uses his beam knife to kill them. I guess the plants want in on the action too, as it swallows up everyone including Rai. Thor is about to meet the same fate, but some girls save. Flashback shows the twins' father telling them about Earth, and how the Balkan system of planets that men made were modeled after it. Yes, we are all Earthlings. Thor wakes up with Tiz by her side. Although she is from the Sun Ring, they are currently staying at Ochre Ring's base. It seems Thor would have been further beaten up if Tiz didn't do so. Thor remembers about Rai, but Tiz tells him to forget him. He already died. You saw him being eaten by the plants, right? Thor then meets Third of Ochre Ring, and he was the one who carried him back. He reveals that the only reason why Ochre is letting them stay here is because Tiz chose Thor to be her husband. As women are few on Chimera, they have the right to choose their husbands. But Thor isn't impressed because he will choose his own destiny. Then they go watch a try. Basically, it is matched to challenge the ring's top leader, and if you win, you take over his place and can do anything. He easily defeats his challenger, so the reigning champion is top. Top then has Thor see him. Because he is Tiz's husband, he allows them to stay for now, but warns him to get stronger like him, because the strong only survives. Thor went down just after that slap. He better get stronger. As Tiz still insists stubborn Thor be her husband, here comes Rika from Sun Ring. She is here to bring Tiz back as Chen is mad. Tiz doesn't want to and wants to remain here with Thor. This as Thor remembers some cheesy confession scene of Rai and a girl. Actually, it was Thor who pretended to be Rai because Rai was too afraid. Tiz tries to stop Thor from heading to Dagger Pagoda alone. This guy still doesn't want to be her husband so much, so he'd rather walk into the swamp. Suddenly the Musa plants start to germinate and grow into huge beanstalks. Thor saves Tiz since he doesn't want it to end like Rai's death. Luckily they grab onto Third's flying pod. Tiz is confused that Thor refused her, but still risked his life to save her. Tiz asks Thor if everyone from Colony behaved like this. Thor gives an excuse he did this for himself and not where he came from. Tiz has decided. She gives her necklace, a symbol of authority, to Rika to be returned to Chen. She is giving up her position in Sun Ring to be with Thor. She'll be under him forever. Thanks to the Musa plants, it is able to draw water from its roots located deep in the ground. Thor is sad that he wanted Rai to see this. Tiz reminds him it isn't his fault to begin with. However, Thor hated Rai, but at the same time he loved him too. He really needs to find out the truth of his parents' murder, so Tiz thinks Colin might be the right guy, since he knows a lot of things. He lives alone near the Sun Ring. Thor agrees to follow Tiz to Colin's place, but unfortunately they stumble into Chen and her subordinates. Chen is the top of Sun Ring's female clan. Chen gives Tiz a warning to come back to them, or they die where they stand. You thought Tiz, who was so reluctant to go back, now agrees to do so. Well, she doesn't want to bring trouble to Thor. So as she obediently returns to Chen, Thor spots an opportunity. Swiftly using Tiz's sword to cut a nearby plant as a diversion to trap Chen, Thor then takes Tiz's hand and run. As they rest, they talk about Thor forming his own ring. No skin color. It'll be colorless. Took too long talking that Chen and Co are back. It's amazing she didn't kill them on sight. Chen still giving Tiz a chance to come back to them, but Thor then challenges Chen. Because he cannot take her place, he will fight for Tiz's freedom. Thor is agile, but he is weak against Chen. Then he notices something about their sword clash. He focuses his beam knife on her sword until it breaks. Safe to say that Thor wins, and Chen must stick by her promise. Just then, a subordinate is swallowed by a Verisona plant underground. Chen ordered them not to move. Chen lures it out so she could destroy its bulb, but it goes berserk. Thor is trying to be a hero. He shot the Verisona plant, causing to run fast like a wild animal. He finally manages to destroy the bulb. All the ladies impressed with Thor's victory. They are picked up by Third to return to Oka Ring. Thor talks to Third about becoming Juu Ou. Something about there is no Juu Ou on Chimera. And if there was, it was probably orders from Hecate. But Thor becoming Juu Ou is possible, as anyone putting their name forward is a possible candidate. It seems Top likes Chen, but the latter refuses him. Tiz explains she nominate Third for the mating month. Yes, they have a mating month. Later, as Thor and Tiz talk about their new ring, Third is interested and also wants to join. He thinks he can handle jobs in both rings. And to think he said he hated responsibilities, well, just as long as it's interesting. Tiz's first order for Third is to bring them to Colin. But before that, Third talks to Chen, who wants to know why he refused her. He claims he is infertile, so mating with him would amount to nothing. But that doesn't stop them from making it out right now. The gang go to the Colin's cave. Upon hearing who Thor is and what happened to his family, Colin believes Odin could be the culprit, the current leader on Juno. According to Colin, there was a group that hated Odin and had intentions to kill him, and it was thought that Thor's father was a part of that group. Shocking, because Thor knows his father is Odin's loyal supporter. Colin was tasked with destroying those groups. Thor doesn't believe his father is part of any assassination plan. Subsequently, after the elimination was carried out, all those involved were abandoned on Chimera. It is possible Thor's father might have become an obstruction to Odin, so he was framed and killed off as an excuse. As Thor tries to process all this heavy info, Tiz wants him to become Juu Ou and leave the planet to find the truth. She will support him. Just then, somebody snipes at Third. Don't worry, he is wearing a bulletproof vest and has anticipated this. This isn't the first time. He knows Top wants to get rid of him. As they leave, Colin talks to Tiz about Thor not having long to live. Unless you undergo some life extension surgery, those on the colony will not live further than 30 years. After returning to Oka Ring, and Tiz confronting Thor about this, they return to Colin to confirm this, but he is dead by Verisona plants. These don't grow here. Somebody must have killed him. I guess Thor can't get some life extension. Back at Oka Ring, Thor tells this to Third, but he doesn't seem to care. As they attend Top's banquet, Top tries to show Third who's the boss by making him do menial tasks. However, Third doesn't mind. Until Thor gets pissed and claims Top isn't the best because he tried to kill Third. A person like that shouldn't be holding top post. In that case, he can be the top. Is that a challenge? With everyone eager for this challenge, Thor realizes he has been set up by Third. Thor punches Third for this setup because he feels he can't win this try. Third points out if he cannot win now, he will never win in the future. He believes in Thor and that he can become Juu Ou. After everything he has seen, his survival is not because of luck. As a former Air Force member who was abandoned here without a trial, Third has been waiting for a person like him to become Juu Ou and leave this planet to bring justice to Odin. He believes his father also had an intention to overthrow Odin. But clearly Thor is in no shape to beat Top. Third shows him a blind spot in the arena. Once the time is right, he must lead Top there, while his guard is down, and Third will lend his help. So as the battle begins, Thor runs around and dodges Top's attacks. It's the only way for now, as he is trying to make this cocky guy mad. Top's sword then deals a lethal strike on Thor's shoulder. Thor losing blood and trying to maintain his consciousness as he limps towards the blind spot. When he cannot see Third anywhere, he thinks he has been betrayed. But Third fires a shot, but misses Top. This is on purpose as the distraction catches Top off guard. I guess nobody heard the gunshot in this noisy arena. Thor then uses this chance to slice Top, killing him. Thor is unconscious after losing too much blood. Then his pulse stops. Oh no, Tiz trying to do CPR. If that doesn't work, Third slaps him as well as reminding him to become Juu Ou. Oh, thank goodness Thor's pulse is back. Later, Chen talks to Third as Ilsa has challenged her to a try. She wonders if Third will come help like he did for Thor. And if she dies, will he cry for her? She hopes to nominate him for the mating season when she wins. I guess it's not about making a baby for the future. Thor wakes up after a bad dream of Rai. He is glad that Tiz and Third are around because it makes his days on Chimera bearable. But looks like the long night is here as it marks the start of the mating season. Meanwhile, Zagi plans to make Ochre Ring his territory. Before we forget, there are other clans. We see Blanc Ring led by their top known as Wolf massacring the Night Ring, and even their top, Juu Ou Sei. A Night Ring member managed to escape and make his way to Ochre Ring. A grown-up Tiz and Thor. He tells them what happened, and it is clear that Blanc Ring doesn't want to become Juu Ou Sei, but rather exterminate other rings. Juu Ou Sei's last words were to seek Thor's help to stop Wolf. As explained, it has been 4 years since Chimera has a shorter yearly cycle. I wonder how Thor can grow up this quick. Furthermore, under Thor's leadership as top of Ochre Ring, their clan has been living in prosperity. He has even earned the nickname as Silver Hawk. As Blanc Ring's next target is Sun Ring, Thor wants to help them. He disagrees with Third's view that the elimination of Sun Ring would do them any good. They head over to a small village in Sun Ring's territory, and their current top now is Juu Ou Sei. He wants their rings to form a pact to combat against Blanc Ring. Unfortunately, because Blanc Ring is a small and secretive organization, not much is known about them. Also, there is this issue with Chen. Although she won against Ilse, an injury has a leg of hers amputated. She has never been the same again and is still depressed. He hopes Third could go talk to her, but Third doesn't think hollow words could motivate her. After all, Third has another woman he loves, but she is far away. Juu Ou Sei goes try talking to Chen, who still feels useless, and is starting to think she wants out of the clan, and she won't bear anybody's child except Third's. Suddenly Wolf leads an attack on the place. Then Wolf challenges Juu Ou Sei to a boss fight, believing taking him down means the downfall of Sun Ring. Wolf's sneaky ways means Juu Ou Sei gets injured. When Chen tries to help him, a subordinate is about to kill her, but Juu Ou Sei defends her. Last words of such man is to live a happy life. The massacre stops when Thor's side arrive. Wolf then unmasks himself to be Zagi. While Thor is in shock and want answers, Zagi tells him to come to Dagger Pagoda in 24 hours and he'll tell him everything. Back at the base, Thor is very conflicted, especially regarding the survival thing when he first came to Chimera with Rai. Third tells him that humans are the worst beast, and if Zagi is human, this makes it all the better not to trust him. We see Heimdall reporting to Odin about some Midgard project, while Odin views it as necessary to create a new world for the sake of humanity. Loki comment, it's impossible for humans to become gods, they just using gene manipulation. Tiz accompanies Thor to see Zagi. At the Dagger Pagoda, Zagi tells Thor to give up his goal to become Juu Ou Sei. He begins his explanation about Hecate, another prison planet. When he was young, he snuck into it and saw something he shouldn't. This is a reason why he got banished to Chimera. And that reason was because he saw many other Juu Ou Sei frozen in their pods. Hence Juu Ou Sei never existed in the first place, and is just bait to get the beasts to kill each other. The moment you become Juu Ou Sei, your life ends and you'll end up like them. Thor is shocked by this information, but he still has difficulty understanding what Zagi intends to do, because if the rings collapse, the army will still intervene and suppress them, and that negotiating with Juno in exchange for information is the best course of action. Suddenly remnants of Night Ring try to assassinate Zagi. Thor saves him, but it is Zagi's second in command, Karin, who kills them. Thor is stunned by Karin's beauty. Tiz consents. She warns him that she is first in line to bear their child. They return to their base to talk further. Tiz is not happy she is separated from Thor. She learns Karin is not interested in bearing any children. Ever since Zagi became their top, he banished all rules including the mating one. The only rule is top's command is absolute. Zagi plans to fight for Chimera's independence from Juno, and he needs someone with charisma. That's you, Thor. That's why he has been watching Thor ever since the day he arrived, and he surpassed all expectations. He believes Chimera has something important that is part of Odin's plans. Otherwise, why keep this prison planet a secret? Thor isn't amused. Karin come in to report trouble with Tiz. Then she warns Zagi not to put his trust in Thor. But Zagi doesn't care and slaps her. Despite her pleas, he banishes her for going against him. Thor is more sympathetic toward Karin. Even so, Karin believes these guys don't understand. Thor cannot be killed because he is loved by a goddess, but Zagi will be the one who will be killed. Karin runs away as Thor returns to Tiz and tells her his only option to join with Zagi for the independence war. She disagrees, but time is running out for him. So this is where the talk about bearing his children comes in. Moment ruined when Karin is reported to have fled in the blizzard. She'll die at this rate. Thor is such a kind guy to go find her. How lucky. He finds her, but she still puts up an act. And then they fall into the chasm. This woman is surely trouble. Don't worry, they're still alive at the bottom of the cliff. He is trying to find a way out, and she's still acting up. Something about Zagi is her only reason to live. If Thor hadn't been around, it might have happened. Now that he is here, Zagi doesn't need her anymore, and is sure would choose Thor as his partner. Jealous Karin tries to kill Thor. Since he won't fight her, he gets injured by her attacks. Poor girl even more confused and stops trying to kill him. And what luck, Thor manages to find a way that might have them resurface. As the blizzard has stopped, Tiz goes to look for her beloved. The same with Third and the other Ochre Ring guys. They stumble into Zagi, but this whatever fight won't matter because it's more important that they search for Thor. Meanwhile, as Thor makes headway in their survival, suddenly Karin talks how beautiful a person he is. Thor responded to her that she is beautiful too. Don't tell me you want to make out right now. Must be a quick one, since they managed to resurface, and Karin talks about him being lucky and the legend surrounding him. Thor doesn't think so, because otherwise he wouldn't have been abandoned on Chimera. Good timing with Tiz locating them. You can see the worries in her eyes. You've been together all the while. And then Thor's shocking announcement. He wants to bring Karin into Ochre Ring. Then Thor tell her that he loves Tiz, but only as a sister. Can't blame her for feeling so heartbroken. Shen talks to her and hopes she could stay with Thor because she knows Zagi is planning something suspicious. The guys continue their talk, and it seems Zagi has made arrangements to meet with Juno on Hecate. Thor doesn't agree with this but will play along as he has no choice. Then he tells Zagi that Karin is now under his wing. In that case, Thor will be Juu Ou and Zagi will be his vice when they meet with Juno. Later, Third talks to Thor about accepting Zagi's plan. He doesn't approve of it, but Thor, who has not much time left, just wants answers. If anything happens to him, please take care of Ochre Ring. But Third also notes that he too has not much time left. In fact, he has already run out of it. Tiz is jealous. How is Thor going to handle this? She manages to open up and talk to him, but she still wants to mate with him when the next season comes around. Meanwhile, Karin returns to Zagi, who thanks her that because she was with Thor, he didn't even hesitate in making a decision. Karin thought he wanted to rule this planet, but decided to become Thor's second man. What is he planning? Seems Zagi is still set on being a ruler and Thor is his trump card. Karin is sad that he is still the same and sees others as tools. Even if she is now under Ochre Ring, she came back to Zagi, right? She wants to kill him, but starts kissing him. Damn, I'm so confused. Zagi wants her to continue to be with Thor so she could spy and report back to him. It would be troublesome if Thor started acting on his own. Then he throws her a question. Whose child would she like to bear? Zagi or Thor? So after he says go to Thor, Karin feels some remorse. She tries to go after him, but then she got stabbed. Thor heard the commotion, but too late. Karin's dead. He becomes mad and thinks Zagi did it. Thor confronts Zagi and they start fighting. Everyone is confused, but Third tells them to watch the final battle between the last two tops to become Juu Ou. Zagi tries that sneaky move he did on Yuuki, but Thor saw through it and outsmarted him. In the end, Thor strikes a fatal blow. As he questions Zagi, it then occurred to him that Zaga's reaction indicates he didn't kill Karin. Zagi hints he knows who killed her, but his last words are not to trust that man. Third congratulates Thor as the new Juu Ou as Dagger Pagoda lights up. He wants Thor to go there, but Thor, ridden with guilt, feels he can't right now. Hence Third has no choice but to have his men take care of Zagi and preserve Karin's body. Thor wants to take a look at Karin's face before he goes. Thor along with Tiz and Third arrive at Dagger Pagoda as Juno welcomes Thor as the 38th Juu Ou. Riding up the orbital elevator, they are greeted by Loki. He is a researcher of a facility on Hecate as well as Thor's mom, Eva. Loki takes Thor to Odin so he could ask the questions to the man himself. Meanwhile, Heimdall talks to Third and congratulates him on his mission that will surely promote him a few ranks up. Thor sees Odin and wants answers. Odin finds Thor to be a beautiful person and hence the last child. He is the triumph of genetic perfection that will save humanity. As explained, in 50 years, humanity will become extinct in the Balkan system as predicted. In the past 100 years, they have only one natural childbirth and the rest via artificial insemination via artificial wombs. Hence the need to create humans to populate Balkan system. As Chimera is undeveloped, DNA samples are collected from there. Thus all the frozen Juu Ou that Zagi saw are important live samples of those who survived the harsh environment. After extracting and crossbreeding their DNA, the offspring are sent back to Chimera. Eva is the only successful surrogate mother of an artificial embryo. Therefore Thor and Rai are actually not blood related to them. They look like their parents only because of their ability to adapt. As part of the final test, the twins were needed to be sent to Chimera, but Eva refused and extreme measures had to be taken. Thor is sad and confused. He wants to end this nightmare. Since this body is created by them, he doesn't care if they cut it up and use it however they like. Then a similar-looking man enters. He is Heather Sigurd. We know him as Third. He is part of this project and infiltrated Chimera earlier to help Thor become Juu Ou. And yes, he killed Karin as part of the mission. Poor Thor is so confused by everything. The only person he wants to kill is himself. As promised, Third's reward is a trip to Earth. A depressed Thor is returned to Tiz's side. Everything he knew was lie. Tiz tries to encourage him that they have each other. When Odin wants to increase Chimera's rotation rate, after ordering the immediate extraction of Thor's DNA, this is the last straw for Loki. He cannot take it anymore playing God. This move will kill all the inhabitants on Chimera as the climate will change drastically. Loki pulls out a gun and shoots him, just in his guts. Odin has enough strength to activate the rotation plan. With the alert sounded, Thor and co rush to the control room as Third explains the significance of this rotation. So how are they going to stop it? Odin and Third won't tell, but Loki will. Some Valkyrie system on Hecate that controls the ball that will be released to start the rotation. Thor wants Tiz to return to Chimera and evacuate as many people into the orbital elevator. Thor, Third, and the other military guys are going to do Mission Impossible and stop this premature final phase. Entering Hecate, it seems Loki notices Valkyrie has locked down the staffs and evacuated the prisoners. After hacking in, it is discovered all the staffs were killed by plants that have been accelerated by the system. Hence we see the carnivorous plants devour the men one by one. Thanks to Thor's knowledge and survival skills, they manage to get by. That's not all. They have to put up a fight with the other Juu Ou, who have awakened from their slumber. Thor kills them all, and when Loki pleads not to because of their precious DNA samples, Thor upsets him by saying that this is not what living is all about. They're dead to begin with. What a convenient time for the computer to project some hologram and tell them the truth about Earth. It doesn't exist anymore because it was blown apart by some meteor 130 years ago. All those who went to Earth just had their memories manipulated. Third is in shock that his dreams are crushed. But it's time for Thor to lecture him a taste of his own medicine, how he is not the only one to have his life stolen from him. So suck it up and live out the life of your chosen path. Entering the control room, it seems Valkyrie has refused access to Loki to stop it. Such high-tech AI, but not high-tech enough as Third and the soldiers shoot and destroy it. While it does stop the balls, it is also mainly the sudden growth of musa that envelope and stop the balls, a sign of Chimera's will. I guess Zagi is sulking, because he can't be the captain of his own ship. Tiz tries to tell him to get back to safety because it is her responsibility to see that all Thor's friends are safe. And even such a moment some enemy tries to kill Zagi. Tiz protects him and takes the shot. Instant karma when the ground collapses on the enemy. Sad to say, but it's true, Tiz dies. Thor and the others manually escape. But looks Verisona plants are hungry. Loki tries to atone by staying behind and become the Verisona's playmate. Then it's Third's turn. Nearly reaching the top, he nearly falls off, so Thor grabs his hand. Third doesn't want to be a burden to him anymore. After all, everything he has done was to make him a Juu Ou. Sadly, Third kills himself so that Thor could go on. At the top, Thor sees a vision of Tiz telling him to survive. I hope it isn't the ghost of Tiz. The helicopter picks Thor up, but he is distraught that Tiz is left behind. Back on Juno, Thor sees Odin on his deathbed. Seeing that Thor survived, Odin promises never to interfere with Chimera again, as Thor's survival is proof of mankind's ability to survive. Thor notes the irony. He always wanted to leave Chimera, but now he wants to go back to it because he views it as hope. That's why he won't hate Odin anymore. Back on Chimera, with the collapse of the ring system, no more stupid clan rules whatsoever. Also, this means no more people will be sent from the colony. Thor is fine with that. He picks up a lost girl almost being devoured by a plant. He decides to call her Tiz as it means hope. Thank you for watching till the end, and please don't forget to subscribe.